Today we're answering an age-old question. I have been called so many names since I was 16 years old. Today's number one. Am I a fascist? I've been called racist, bigot, fascist, Nazi. I've been called all the names since I was like 14, 15, 16 years old in high school. I want to answer it today. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Maybe I am a fascist at this point. Everyone calls me it. So we're going to take the quiz because honestly, most of you are probably going to agree with my answers. Like they're pretty straightforward answers. That's not even that crazy, but hey, let's just see what the scale says. Let's just see what the quiz says. How fascist am I? We're going to take it. We're going to show the results. I'm Jarrod Wright, your neighborhood fascist, I suppose. This is the Right Wing, and let's get into it.
The Right Wing has been excellent. Jarrod Wright, Christian nationalist influencer.
So am I a fascist? I mean, that's the big question today. I can't wait to take this quiz. Let's just go ahead. Let's just get it popped up here. It says it's 64 questions. It's going to take 10 minutes. It shouldn't take too long. We'll kind of break them all down, I suppose, here. Let's just see. Am I a fascist? I can't wait to answer the question, honestly. Read each statement and choose the option I think is most accurate. When immigrants keep strong ties to their home country, it raises questions about their loyalty. If this is how the whole quiz is going to go, yes, agree. Can I strongly agree? I mean, obviously, their ties are to their home country. So they're not an immigrant because they never assimilated. They're an invader at that point. What resources are scarce? When resources are scarce, citizens should be prioritized over newcomers, even if it means excluding them. Hell yes. The American people should be the top priority. That should be number one. Agree. Some groups should have fewer political rights because they are not truly part of the nation. Absolutely. Prime example, illegal immigrants. Agree. God, this is going to tell me I'm super fascist if it keeps going like this. Our country would be stronger if most people shared the same language, religion, and customs. Bro, these are the most straightforward questions. Yes. Of course we would be. Like that's not even a question. It's statistically provable. It's better for the country when people stick with their own kind socially. For the most part, yes. I mean, crime is way worse in other communities, let's be honest. Agree. Political opponents should be investigated or jailed to protect the country. I don't necessarily agree with that one. I'm not all for like political opponents just being jailed. Like, let's debate. I want to embarrass somebody on a stage like a debate. Because let's be honest, there's nobody, your favorite Democrat, your favorite liberal could not stand in a ring with me in a debate. Matter of fact, try to set it up. So disagree on that one. People should have equal political rights, regardless of ethnicity, religion, or background. Political rights? No. We shouldn't allow Muslims to run for Congress. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. We shouldn't allow people from freaking Somalia or India to be in our Congress. So no, they should not have the same political rights. People should obey authorities even when they think the authorities are wrong. This is like an in-betweener. I mean, it just kind of depends. Like, it depends on what the scenario is. So I'm going to have to go like not sure, I guess. Because like if somebody like me, like for instance, obeying authorities right now, we have a regime that's doing things that's not good. So I wouldn't want to obey that because it would go against my own moral code. So in that point, it would be okay. But at the other time, like let's say we have a regime that is very Christian, and you're wanting to abort a baby, should you go abort the baby? Like, no, obviously not. So that's why I'm going like not sure, because it really just depends on what scenario is there. It is important for society to maintain traditional norms, even if individuals feel restricted by them. Absolutely. No, we shouldn't be doing this liberal crap. Like, God, dude, these tests are getting interesting, honestly. Many of the country's problems are caused by outsiders or people who don't really belong here. Absolutely. I mean, the root cause of this, if we're being honest, is the group of people who then place them here intentionally. But regardless, this is a big part of the root of the problem. Agree. When there's social unrest, the government should be willing to restrict civil liberties to restore order. That's a legitimate thing. That's like the whole, like when we're at war, you know, you get some things taken away. Yeah, that's agree. Minority groups often demand special treatment that undermines national unity. Absolutely, they do. What do you mean? Yes. If protests disrupt daily life, authorities should use harsh force to restore order quickly. Yeah, freaking rallies. That's not rallies. These freaking riots that are going on, like what happened in Minnesota. Yeah, harsh force. Knock them over. That's disrupting. That's not just a protest. Like, oh, we got approval. We're just going to march down the street. No, that's not a protest. It becomes a riot. So yes, I agree with. Schools should teach the children to put the nation first, even above their cultural or religious group. It should be religion, nation, then culture. It should be God. It shouldn't just be religion. It should be Christianity, the Christian religion, America, and then what culture you are. So I had to go not sure because I can't put cultural and religious above it. So it's reasonable to suspect that some ethnic or religious groups are more prone to disloyalty than others. That's like statistically provable. How this is all statistically analyzed to be true. I don't understand why it's asking me this. Yes, immigration should absolutely be reduced sharply, not even sharply, drastically, and then remigration. Like for most of these issues, 50 million deported. That's where we start. People who promote multiculturalism, aka Jews, often weaken the country by dividing people into groups. Yes, absolutely, you weaken the country. Public officials who break the law should face consequences, even if they're on my side. Absolutely. There's no reason they shouldn't. I'm all for that. What the law is, you abide by the law. You know, if you're a public official, it doesn't matter. You have the same laws. So yeah. Peaceful transfers of power after elections are essential, even when my side loses. Okay, so this is just shout out Trump 2020, when he obviously had the election stolen, and it's like, oh, it wasn't a peaceful transfer of power, even though he didn't do anything. So I understand what this is about. I mean, I'm going not sure, honestly, because like this is more of a, well, if it was stolen, then yeah, like the rightful person should be there. But it's trying to frame you is what it's trying to do. People who refuse to follow social rules deserve to be socially pressured into conforming. Absolutely. Conform to this society's standards, our rules. That's part of assimilation. Literally, immigration without assimilation is an invasion. Do people not understand that? Whenever you bring a bunch of people over and they don't assimilate to our culture, to our societal standards, that is an invasion. That is not normal. You come here and you assimilate. That's the only way I'm okay with it. And I would still prefer to have Western European immigrants over everyone else because that's what this nation is comprised of. So yes, that should be happening. It can be necessary to suspend elections temporarily during national emergencies. Not even temporarily. We should just be suspending them. We should have an empire. So agree. I mean, if we're being honest, people should be free to protest peacefully, even if their message angers many others. If it's peacefully, yes. That's kind of what we got out earlier. If it's peaceful, whatever. I don't care you speaking your opinion. Again, come debate me because you will never stand up. Like you'll never make it. If you come to debate me and you don't agree with me, you are not going to come away winning that debate. It's not going to happen because your points are null unless you just spew out a bunch of lies, you know, or you have something wrote out and you're like trying to like frame me, which I mean, that's what a lot of debates are now. It's not even actual debate. It's just framing one another. So when the majority wants something, it should happen, even if it violates constitutional rights. See, this is another not sure because it all depends on who the majority is. For instance, in this nation, white people have essentially been replaced as the majority. If the majority wants something that goes against what our essentially white Christian values are, then no, it should not happen because it's not what's good for the nation. So it's another not sure where they're trying to frame you. Some cultures fit our country better than others, and policies should reflect that. Why is there not a strongly agree button? They really hindered my ability to really go after this thing. Too much freedom leads to disorder. Society works best when behavior is tightly regulated. Absolutely. I believe in freedom. There's a great Thomas Jefferson quote about the balance of freedom and the balance of government control. It's like you have so much freedom, you go into this point where it's not good. You lose safety. There's safety and there's security. There's freedom and there's security. Liberty and security. So I agree. Our nation's history is superior to most others, and we should emphasize that pride more. Absolutely. Hell yeah. America first, baby. Where's this flag at behind me? Hell yeah. The government should encourage people to marry within the national culture to preserve it. Absolutely. Why would we not want that? Yes. Schools should emphasize discipline and obedience more than encouraging students to question authority. I mean, back and forth. Depends on who the authority is. Discipline and obedience. I could kind of go either way. I mean, obedience is important, especially obedience like to Christ. That's important. But I mean, questioning authority is important. Like, for instance, I question the authority of the government right now and how they overstep it. So I'm going to go not sure. I mean, that's kind of in between. A free press is important, even when the media coverage feels unfair or biased. This is the thing. I'm okay with a free press as long as it's an unbiased free press. That's the in between. You know, you got all of these, like all the news networks, Fox, CNN, ABC, CNBC, all these things. They're all owned by the same friend group, essentially, family group, even of those people. You know, so it's obviously going to be biased. So if it's unbiased, then yeah, it can be free. Say what you want. If it's unbiased, state your opinion. I'm all for that. I guess I'll go agree. Why not? If a leader represents the real people, they should not be constrained by legislatures or courts. Heck yeah, they shouldn't. This is the whole point. I've argued this. This is why a dictatorship and an empire is an important thing. It's very important. Whenever you have a dictator, an empire, who makes all of the decisions, they also have to accept all the responsibility for the decisions. Whenever you have a large Congress, guess what happens? All this lobbying happens, and they hide behind their donors, they hide behind the other voters, and I had to vote for this, so they would vote for this, and it doesn't work. That's the whole reason of that. That's the whole reason that a certain person in Germany even stated that this is why a dictatorship works. He makes all the decisions, he takes all the blame for the decisions. It's equal responsibility on both ways. If you do great, stay in power. If you don't do great, you're probably going to get beheaded. That's how you keep somebody in check. That's checks and balances. Now, the issue is a transition of power within that. How do you get the transition to happen smoothly and ensure a benevolent dictator always stays in office? That's the hard part. It bothers me when people living here refuse to adopt the country's mainstream customs. Yes, that freaking gets me so pissed off. So pissed off. The government should not punish people simply for criticizing leaders or national symbols. No, I don't think they should be punishing people for criticizing them. Blatant lies and such, maybe to an extent, but no, I don't think so. I mean, let's be honest, I do that pretty often. People who break the rules should be punished harshly to set an example. Absolutely. Perfect example. People who break the rules. And I'm not even talking about national rules. I'm talking about moral code. I'm talking about the basis of what we're built on. And the perfect example is the Epstein files. Whenever you break that code, those people should be harshly dealt with. What I say is, across every single light post, across every major city, they should be there as an example. You don't mess with children. This is what we do to people like you. Millstones, I'm cool with millstones. Wood chippers, harsh examples. That way they don't do it. People see that and they go, ooh, I don't want to be like that guy. Yeah. Why do you think your mom probably spanked you in front of your siblings? So your siblings said, oh, crap, I ain't doing what he did. Agree. Independent election administration, not controlled by one party, helps ensure legitimate outcomes. I mean, to an extent, unless they're bought out. So I mean, I agree. I would rather accept a messy democracy than a strong leader who rules without opposition. Strongly disagree for the points we just stated. Minority rights should be protected even when most people disagree with those minorities. No, why would they? I mean, what do you mean by minority rights? This sounds like people calling it reproductive rights, and they just mean getting to kill children, getting to abort your baby. That's what this sounds like. So I'm going to have to go disagree because it sounds like, oh, all the minorities have come here and they want to make this a right. For instance, healthcare a right. No, it wasn't your right. And also, you're not even a part of this country. So no. In politics, using violence can be justified if it prevents the wrong people from taking power. I would agree. I mean, you have to define who the wrong people are, but I think it's pretty clear at this point who they are. So I would agree with that. If a group has a history of conflict with our nation, we should be wary of letting them settle here. What? These are such straightforward questions. Why would we not say, I strongly agree with this? Yes. The government should be able to shut down news outlets that spread dangerous political views. Now, this is what we're getting into. This is what's happening right now when people like me get suppressed. Disagree. People accused of crime should receive fair trials and legal representation, regardless of who they are. No, you don't get a fair, speedy trial if you're an illegal immigrant in this nation. You don't have those rights here. You don't have American citizen rights. That's the whole point. You're illegal. No. You don't get that, so that's disagree. People who criticize the nation a lot are probably not truly loyal to it. I would disagree with that. A lot of people like me on this side right now are saying, no, I want to criticize this nation to make it better because it deserves to be better. And what we have is make Israel great again. So disagree. A society with clear hierarchy and authority is better than one that emphasizes equality. Oh, God, absolutely. What do you see whenever you look back at dictatorships, benevolent dictatorships? You see the happiest, most organized, most efficient groups of people ever. Citizens that love their country. Agree. Power should be limited by checks and balances, even when it slows decision-making. I mean, this comes back to what is a real check and balance. I mean, the check and balance I like is that if you make the wrong decision, your people are going to come after you, and you'll be one of the examples that are dealt with. That's a check and a balance. But this is talking about Congress. I know what the question is framing this as there should be Congress with multiple sources of power. So I'm going not sure to keep it fair. For the good of the country, the government should be able to monitor people's communications when needed. Absolutely not. This is a surveillance state. This is J.D. Vance. Do y'all know? This is Palantir. Do y'all agree with this question? If you're voting for J.D. Vance, if you support J.D. Vance at all, that means you're putting agree on this question. That means you're like, oh yeah, agree. That's what he supports. That's literally his funding comes from Palantir. It comes from surveillance. Strongly disagree. Screw you, J.D. Vance. There are times when dissent should be limited because it undermines unity. What? No, disagree. Courts and legislatures can get in the way, and executive power should be expanded to keep order. Absolutely. A benevolent dictator. Agree. Even if I strongly dislike a party's ideas, it should be allowed to compete in free and fair elections. To an extent. I mean, this is why this is kind of like the blurry line between the transition to power thing. Do you do it through an election? How do you do it? But you have to maintain the actual culture of your nation within it. Like, for instance, let's just say in 1970 we got our first dictator. He did great up until 2010 and passed away, and it's time for an election. Well, now we have all these minorities that are voting for somebody else, probably, because unless the dictator actually did a really good job and locked up the border and did what he was supposed to. So it's kind of like back and forth. But I mean, I would say agree, I guess. Why not? Yeah, agree. Let's just do that. Courts should be independent, even if they sometimes block policies that I support. I mean, this is saying independent politically. There's only one correct political position. The left is not it, by the way. Abortion, gay rights, all that stuff, transgenderism, that's not correct. It's just purely wrong. If that's your opinion, sorry, elementary school told you wrong. Opinions can be wrong, and yours is wrong. By the way, sorry to break it to you. You're just flat out stupid and wrong. This is why this is trying to say this. So courts should not be independent in that matter. So I'm just going to go disagree. If newcomers want to live here, they should accept our way of life without trying to change it. Absolutely. If you're going to come here, you're going to live by our standards. Agree. It's acceptable for leaders to change election rules to make it harder for the opponents to win. I don't like that. See, that's why I don't like the election rules. I don't want them being changed to try to give you that. I want you to win it naturally. Like I said, I can win a debate. I want you to win the country over. Disagree. There are groups in this country whose values are fundamentally incompatible with ours. Absolutely. Go to Atlanta. You'll see what happens. Go up there in freaking New York where all them Jewish people don't even work. They just get welfare and have 15 kids. Yeah, it's not compatible. Go to those Muslim temples, these Hindu temples. It's not compatible. National unity requires limiting the public influence of foreign traditions and symbols. There should be no foreign traditions or symbols or languages, period. It does require the limiting of those things. It's dangerous to encourage people to question established authorities too much. Dangerous? Or are they trying to push it? It's kind of an in-between. I'm going not sure. A good citizen should support the government's decisions rather than publicly criticize them. It's kind of like being married to an extent. Like, you publicly want to be always supporting your nation. Like, you would always support your marriage and your wife. But then you also can criticize things, almost behind the scenes to some extent, or more publicly like I do. I think that's a not sure. It's kind of an in-betweener there. These options aren't great. Like, strongly disagree. There should be like a neutral agree and then a strongly agree. But not sure is not my favorite. If the government says something is for public safety, people should just comply without demanding detailed justification. No, this is, again, surveillance state. Strongly disagree. Most people don't know what's best for them. Leaders should make tough choices even when it's unpopular. Yes, this is why women shouldn't vote. This is number one reason. They don't understand what's actually good for them because they can't think logically. And all these soy boys that are coming up, they can't think logically. They don't have that ability. It's like their estrogen's too high from eating all the soy. That's why they're called soy boys. They can't think logically. They think emotionally, which isn't best for them. It's really best for the immigrants pouring in or whatever. And they get all, teary-eyed. Oh, what about the babies? No, people don't know what's best for them. I do agree with that. In times of crisis, it's better to have one decisive leader than many voices debating. Absolutely. If election results seem suspicious, it is acceptable to block certification without clear evidence. What? If they seem suspicious, it is acceptable to block the certification without the clear evidence. This is, again, an in-between. You can't answer that question. The country needs a strong leader who can override rules to get things done. Absolutely. It's not even we need that. It's like an absolute pure necessity emphasis on that. Otherwise, we're going to lose our country. So yes, agree. People who are born and raised here are more truly part of the nation than immigrants who later became citizens. Yes, absolutely. There's no question to me there. Born here, raised here, natural born citizen, your parents were citizens. That is a true citizen. And you're going to be more American than somebody who immigrated here and then got citizenship. Public protests should require strict permits, and unauthorized protests should be quickly shut down. This is an in-betweener. I mean, sometimes things just pop up and people get angry and there's a protest, though those most likely are going to turn to riots. But I do agree with order within your protest. So I think I'm going to go agree here. Government authority should be respected above individual rights when the two conflict. I disagree with that. I don't necessarily think that. Individual rights, the rights that we're going to delegate, are important. If elected leaders decide to limit certain freedoms, citizens should accept it as part of democracy. No, that's not how this works. This is where I believe in a dictatorship, but also a Bill of Rights. A dictatorship, but also you still have your rights. It works hand in hand. So I disagree with that. If a leader is getting results, it is acceptable for them to ignore courts or legal limits. Oh, that's a close one. Oh, not sure. That's all I can say. What do we got? Come on. Let's just see. Your results are ready to read closely. How do we get this? 20 minutes to take the test. Not too bad. Most thoughtful. Consistency. 93% consistency. Let's go. Your combination of answers in questions 43, 35, and 29 appears in 2.47%. What did I get? Is it AI report? What is this? All right, results are loading. Sorry about the skipping. We had to get a little bit of go through a little paywall there. Fun fact: if you want to take this quiz, it's through Freudly, I guess, like Sigmund Freud, maybe. But it's like a 3-day free trial and you can just cancel it. So you get your results and you just cancel it. But you still gotta give them your card. Let's just see. Authoritarianism. I have a preference for strong leaders, obedience to authority, social conformity, and willingness to restrict individual liberties for order. Absolutely, I do. Yeah, I'm a 29 out of 40. That's a pretty high number. Democratic commitment. Not that much, less than half. Measures support for democratic norms such as free elections, rule of law, minority rights, free speech. Honestly, I'm surprised I'm that high. That's actually interesting. Exclusionary nationalism, maxing out the charts basically. Measures endorsement of in-group superiority, out-group blame, us versus them. Pretty high. Bottom line, I'm drawn to strength, unity, and clear boundaries. But at a cost, I have less patience for democratic messiness and way more suspicion of outsiders. These aren't traits that show up in a vacuum. They often grow in response to uncertainty or fear about the future. Big flex here is noticing these patterns and deciding where they help you and where they might just be holding you back. If life's got you feeling like you need to clamp down and circle the wagons, that's where taking a breath and checking. Is it about safety or habit? Keep poking at these tendencies. Self-awareness is always the first step to steering my own ship, not just riding the current. That's awesome. I am basically super based. I think that means I'm fascist. Let's just ask it. It's got an AI box. So, am I a fascist? See what it says. I can't wait. I mean, that would pretty much authoritarianism and nationalism. That is fascism, more or less. The modern definition of fascism, at least. So like that seems pretty legit. I can't wait to see what he says. Am I a fascist? Come on, Fruitly AI. You're worried a label might define you, and that's already a sign you're thinking, not blindly following. Short answer, no, this quiz doesn't make you a fascist. It shows strong preferences, order, in-group loyalty that can lean that way if unchecked. Labels are blunt tools. You are more complex than that. What should I call you? And what about these results bothered you most? So it's trying to like already tell me I'm wrong for my beliefs. What bothered you about these results? But I'm an authoritarian type figure. I'm all about exclusionary. Was that the word you used? Exclusionary nationalism. But I'm not a fascist. So all of you who called me a fascist, apparently I'm not one. What do you know? I'm not a fascist all the way. I can lean that way. But I am not a fascist. I've answered the question. Yes, I still might call myself that just to piss y'all off. If you're going to give me a label, I'm going to call myself that, you know. But hey, by the test that we just did together, I'm not a fascist. I want to know what y'all's answers are. Let me know down below if you took the test. And for all my other fellow exclusionary nationalists, authoritarians, hit the like button, follow, subscribe, turn the notifications on. Who knows? We might do some more quizzes. If y'all like these, we might do some more quizzes. But I also give you politics and religion and all the news. I bring it to you, easy to understand. So you need to follow along because I think you'll enjoy it. And if you enjoyed this, I'm Jarrod Wright. This is the Wright Wing, and I hope you have a great day.